Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Guided Conversion and the Future of Retail. Here we will explore how and why retailers are enhancing their customer experience by bringing the in-store experiences online. I'm Ali Thiem, the editor of Power Retail, and it's lovely to have everyone here today. We have a fantastic lineup of panelists in store for you today, but before I introduce everyone, I have a little bit of housekeeping to go through. So if you have any questions for our panelists today, feel free to ask them in the questions tab on the right-hand side of your screen, and we will do our best to answer them at the end of the session. So before we jump in, I'd also like to take a couple of minutes just to introduce everybody. Today, we are joined by Lisa Albert, the General Manager of Marketing at Bevilles. Lisa is a highly accomplished omni-channel and retail marketing executive with over 20 years of experience in marketing premium brands, including Target, Warner Brothers, Diana Ferrari, M, and the jewel of the Just Group, Just Jeans. With an extensive background in developing and implementing innovative and commercially focused strategies for iconic brands, she ensures to deliver customer satisfaction and shareholder value. So I'm just going to let Lisa explain a little bit about Bevilles. Lisa?
Hi everyone. Bevilles is an amazing, iconic brand, Australian iconic brand that's been around for over 84 years. I'm fortunate enough to work with the third generation and propel the brand to the next successful sphere of its history, to be honest. And we'll talk about Prezi, but Prezi was certainly a big part of it. I'm delighted to be here.
Fantastic. We're also very excited to introduce Emma Filipponi, the e-commerce and digital marketing manager for Blue Bungalow. So Blue Bungalow is an Australian-owned fashion and lifestyle brand, making the online shopping experience as meaningful as shopping in store. Emma has been working with the fashion marketing industry since 2011 and has 9 years of marketing experience. And Emma is the ultimate consumer, and she's fascinated by how rapidly the consumer market and landscape changes. She's particularly interested in scaling e-commerce businesses, digital performance marketing, and the psychology behind consumer behavior. So digital performance marketing with a focus on fashion e-commerce is her specialty. And she's dedicated to continual learning in such a rapidly moving industry. Emma, could you please give our audience a bit of insight about Blue Bungalow?
Yes, hello, hi everybody. So for anyone unfamiliar with Blue Bungalow, we are a women's apparel, lifestyle and accessories boutique. So we're predominantly online. We've got a global audience on our online store, but we've got a gorgeous, fabulous retail experience in Newstead in Brisbane. So the Newstead store is really the conceptualization or the visualization of our online experience, and it's beautiful, and it's a massive store, like bigger than my earrings, massive. It's huge. So about 200 square meters. We've got a beautiful cafe, and all of our customers come in and have a coffee and meet their friends, and all of the staff that work in there are stylists. So yeah, Blue Bungalow is that kind of lifestyle, like your friend in fashion.
It's such a pleasure to have you here. And last but not least, we have Michael Kutek, the founder and CEO of Prezi, a Melbourne-born e-commerce tech startup. So Michael has a passion for consumer psychology, e-commerce and sales. Therefore, he's dedicated his entire life into bringing the in-store experience online with the creation of Prezi. So Michael, could you tell us a little bit about Prezi, how it began and its offering?
Yeah, sure. So Prezi initially started, or the concept started a long time ago when I was 15 years old working at the Good Guys. And simply put, I saw that when consumers walked into a store and they were confronted with the wall of 100 TVs, it was really hard for them to navigate that range so that they could just go, oh, okay, that's the right one, or look at this rack, or this is the right one for you. And it was always the sales assistant that helped guide them through that process. And that was replicated through any product, from laptops to washing machines. So even back then, I always had this idea and love to bring that in-store experience online. So effectively met my co-founder, Kwok, raised a bit of capital, and yeah, trying to build the dream of Prezi, bringing the in-store experience online.
Fantastic. So it's no secret that e-commerce has experienced a seismic shift in the last 12 months. I know everyone loves that saying, but it's true. And as an increasing number of consumers flock to their phones and desktop to shop, the need for excellent customer experience is paramount. So today we will be diving into 2 key case studies with Bevilles and with Blue Bungalow, and understand how online retailers can increase and improve their conversion rates and customer experience. So without further ado, let's get started. So starting with Emma, Could you please take us through the journey that Blue Bungalow experienced with Preezy?
Yes, so we've been working with Preezy now for almost 12 months. So the need to start working with Preezy came from one of our challenges that we faced on our online store, was that it was really difficult, or it was becoming increasingly difficult for our customers to navigate to the product that they were looking for. So really, product discovery was what we were trying to address, and as we were scaling and getting bigger, we were getting more product on our virtual shelves, and it was becoming harder to funnel our customers in the right way to find the right thing for them. So our retail experience, the conversion rate for our retail store is something incredible, like 95%. So people who come into that store, they are buying and very rarely leaving. So we're a destination store. We're not in Westfield or any like shopping precinct. We're kind of in the industrial space in Newstead. So people who are coming to our store are coming with the intention of having a really great experience, and they're wanting to shop, and our retail staff are able to help facilitate that. And they walk in, basically give a brief of what they're looking for, and our team can kind of condense down our massive range and just show them what they're looking for. So that is what we were trying to replicate on our online store, and that's when Preezy came into the picture. So I remember when I was first talking to Tanvir at Preezy, so the thing he said that got me hooked was that the reason for Preezy was to get rid of the decision paralysis, and that just resonated with me completely, because that was our biggest challenge. We just had so many products and so many things that suited many people that we needed to be able to provide a better experience just for that one person and narrow down the range. So as you can see in the slide there, a 377% increase in our conversions since we implemented Preezy, which is enormous. Like, that's just such an exciting figure to see. And our conversion rate before was not a bad one. Michael can probably attest to this. Like, we were happy with our conversion rate, but seeing it increase by that much was just outstanding. So at the moment, as it stands, probably as of about last month, 21% of our sessions were using the Preezy technology, which obviously shows how much more room and space there is for us to grow that and kind of roll it out on more of our product pages, because if they're converting it that much higher than our normal, we need to be getting more of our customers to use the tech.
Definitely. And so customer expectations have obviously changed in the last 12 months, you know, as stores close across the country and there's been a real need for online retail. So how has Blue Bungalow adapted to these changes, and have you learned anything along the way?
Yeah, so actually one of the first things we did with all of the mass closures of the store, ours included, and it's going to sound ridiculous to a lot of people listening, but we filmed a video which taught people how to purchase online. And I mean, it sounds ridiculous because it seems like everyone knows how to do that, but they just don't. And with all of the stores closing, it created this massive market of people who no longer had the capability to be able to buy in the way that they were used to. So we had one of our great staff members in the retail store who, she's a retail shopper, she lives and breathes retail shopping in store. So she put together a video basically taking our customers who shopped in retail through how simple it is to shop online. So that was great for our customers, and we were able to provide some education and I guess make the most out of the opportunity that we had in front of us, which was the mass amount of people that now had their traditional way of shopping unavailable to them. So we did that, which worked really well. We got a great response from the audience who watched it, and I think a lot of people are left out of marketing these days. If they don't fit into that demographic that shop online, they're forgotten about. So it was good to be able to give something to those people to help them kind of join the rest of the world with shopping online, which was really nice. Another thing we did really quickly was set up virtual styling sessions. So with our retail store closed, there was the opportunity to make the most of our staff who weren't working anymore to open up the styling experience, which we've always had in our retail store, to the rest of the world, basically. So anybody could jump on, book a session. So we did the virtual styling sessions, amazing feedback from that. Our average order value was huge. People were getting that one-on-one experience with our staff. Anyone who wasn't comfortable with video, we were doing phone styling sessions. So yeah, that was a quick way to respond to the need people had for more help when it came to shopping. having Prezi on the site, obviously at that time, was really great. I'm glad we didn't delay going forward with that until, you know, this year. Having it on board, ready to go, helping people who are new to shopping be able to navigate through the site with Prezi was fabulous. And then the other thing we did was start our Facebook Live journey, which was super interesting, really great. We've developed a bit of a community around our lives, which happen every Friday in our retail store. Our stylists are on there. We've got loyal followers that jump in every week, and it was really good to build that interaction. And we've got people that are based in Melbourne every week. They're sitting on their computer ready to say hi to us. So yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. And just taking it back to Prezi, were you expecting to see an increase in revenue after implementing the platform? And what was the biggest surprise that you actually encountered?
So we definitely were. So when we're looking at any new project that we take on in the business or integration, it's either got to improve our conversion rate, drive more customers to our site, or reduce our operating costs. So those are one of the three things that we look for any new project. So the expectation was absolutely that Prezi would give us, you know, bring more revenue into the business through the increased conversion rate. It was the rate at which that happened that was the biggest surprise. So we would have been happy with, you know, we were sitting at about 30 return on spend initially after a couple of months, but it's over 100 now. So yeah, it's just the expectations have been far exceeded. So that was the biggest surprise. I think I always knew it would work, and we wouldn't have done it if we didn't think it would. But yeah, it's just blown us out.
Fantastic. So one final question, why is it important for retailers such as Blue Bungalow to offer a frictionless online shopping experience in this day and age?
Yeah, so one thing that I'm a really firm believer in is that it's not that we have shortened attention spans, which there's a lot of discussion around attention span and that it's getting shorter and shorter and shorter in the digital age. I don't necessarily believe that's a fact. I think there's just more distraction and our attention is divided because there's so much kind of going on in our lives. And I think everyone can relate to the fact that we've got a million, you know, mental tabs open in our brain, and as soon as there's any sense of downtime or boredom in what we're doing, we're likely to get distracted. So having a frictionless experience where there's no room for boredom, because I think we're more easily bored now and we're expecting kind of some level of engagement or entertainment. So being able to provide that, I think, is really important online for conversion rates, because, you know, it's quite shocking how simple someone has to, like a simple distraction on your site can turn somebody off. So we're trialing some tech at the moment on our website where we're able to view that user journey and watch what people are actually doing, and seeing some of those playbacks, it's amazing to see how people, the smallest little hiccup in their journey, they just bounce out of the site. So yeah, being able to engage the customer and give them answers quickly is so important.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now I'm going to throw it over to Lisa. So Bevilles has also worked with Prezi for a guided conversion solution. So Lisa, could you please take us through the Bevilles case study and how Prezi has helped conversion rates and everything?
Yeah, sure. From when we met Prezi, I found it quite fascinating. Firstly, I love the fact that it's an Australian-owned company, that the guys are all young, they're really intuitive. But what got me over the line, and having spoken to so many similar companies, but nothing as intuitive as this, is they started and finished with the customer. And we're speaking to a number of tech companies, they talk about conversion, they talk about sales, but they don't talk about the customer experience. And I think with the pandemic and the current environment that we're living in, the customer experience, it has to be at the forefront of every marketer's decision path. And that's what Prezi did really, really well. And listening to Michael's passion and having worked on the retail floor and understood the purchase path to purchasing a product, he delivered it in a portal that was very simplistic for the consumers. So at the back end, a lot of science, a lot of data-driven information, working overtime, you know, crawlers going through thousands of products in a millisecond, providing an intuitive result for the consumer based on their needs and wants. So it ticked a lot of boxes for us, because when we talk to third-party suppliers, we stay by the customer's shoulder in ensuring that we're going to deliver the right outcome for them, because if we do that, I know I'm going to get increased sales. So the questions I often ask myself, is it going to make the customers feel special? With Prezi, yeah. are we going to provide them a tool that's going to cater for their needs? Absolutely. And are we going to answer the questions to help them make an informed decision in a timely manner? Absolutely. Now, we've got inventory over 8,000 products. Within a millisecond, they can actually just start defining the categories and the size of the stone, the cut of the stone, the shank that it sits on, by just answering a few simple questions. What I also loved about the tool, it's playful, it's gamification. And as you know, if anyone's worked in gamification in the past, when you go into that domain, people don't like to get out of it because they actually find it fun, it's engaging. Furthermore, they're leading the way to the end result. So they're in control all the way through. On a lot of the websites, we're trying to drive them down different funnels where, you know, we're giving the steering wheel to the consumer and saying, you drive to where you want to go and we'll provide you the information in an informed manner. So for all of those reasons, we thought it's definitely on the customer shoulder. We believed it was going to drive results. We were kind of surprised by the level of results that it did drive, and you can see it double conversion rate by 27%. We also saw an uplift of our average order value by 20% as well, which was exceptional. We found that of the 100% of people that went in there, 78% of those people actually got to the end of the funnel, which was fantastic. So the bounce rates reduced, the churn rate reduced, and sales organically went up. So we didn't talk about sales with Michael. We actually talked about the customer journey, the customer path, because we knew his model was actually very, very sound, that we would get the results. And when we looked at the results, it actually took us to another level. We weren't expecting the results that we got, which was great.
Fantastic. And just touching on the fact that you're thinking about the customer first, creating an in-store experience online is an immensely challenging task no matter the retailer. So what was the biggest lesson that Bevilles had actually learned from the experience working with Michael and Breezy?
I'm not sure there was a lesson that we learned, but there was, what surprised me that we're now taking Prezi to other realms, because everyone's talking about how can you use Prezi online. We're actually saying, well, where else can we take Prezi to further engage the customer and take it to the next level? So we all know that artificial intelligence and machine learning is going to become the norm. And frankly, Prezi provides the tipping point for us to take it to the next dimension, because when I overlay you know, what we're doing with CRM and what we're doing with data analysts, data scientists we're about to bring on, we're about to create a seamless experience for the customer, whether at our bricks and mortar stores or whether they're having a virtual appointment with us, or indeed if they're on our website. And we want to collate all that data so the next time they come back, that it's more refined in the responses that we give them. So what we're now doing, because it's worked so well online, we see the tool actually going into store, because we see guys come in wanting to buy an engagement ring for the fiance, or they want to make a fiance, and they're not really sure what engagement ring to buy. And she's going to be a bridezilla, and he's really nervous, wanting to make sure he gets the right rock for her. So a tool like Prezi gives him the tool to actually go answer a couple of intuitive questions to give him the knowledge and the comfort that he is making the right decision, because it's a couple of grand that they're putting on the table. So we see this tool also going back into the bricks and mortar stores as well, and we're going to be doing a whole lot of A/B testing on that. We've also just recently launched virtual store, and in fact our first virtual appointment, we generated over a $10,000 sale, which is exceptional. So we're, as part of the onboarding of the customer, we're getting them to go through the Prezi tool so we can actually ensure that the sales team, the concierge team at the back end, are fully equipped when they get on that conference call with the customer, and they have a really intuitive understanding of what the customer is looking for, what their concerns are, barriers. So by the time we finish with the customer, we know that we'll probably get a higher average sale, but we know the completion of the sale will also be pretty high because we've got all the information up front. So I see Prezi being bigger than just an online tool. I see you can take it in any dimension. You just got to follow the consumer and answer their questions, but use this tool to assist you.
Sounds incredible. Actually, I used the Bevilles, the little Prezi tool the other day myself, and it is really fun. Talking about gamification, I did feel like I was going to win a prize at the end or something, and that prize is obviously the jewelry. So it's a really great way to engage customers as well, which I think is the future of retail. But obviously right now we're still battling a pandemic, which is changing the way that shoppers understand and approach retail in itself. So what do you think the future of retail looks like in a post-pandemic world?
Well, the pandemic, it's quite interesting because you've got to move really quickly. You know, pre-pandemic, you probably had, you had time to actually prepare the strategy for e-commerce or even retail stores. But now you don't have the time. You have to make decisions on the run, and you've got to be really, really quick. with moving the business forward, because there's a lot of competitors out there moving very quickly. You've got to keep up with them. In addition to that, with post-pandemic, you've got to be nimble and you've got to be a risk taker, and you've got to be following the data. With artificial intelligence and machine learning, all the information's there. I think the challenge for all marketers is to pull your head out of the silos, because every time I go into a retail organisation, whether it's fashion or hard goods, or in this instance jewellery, there's always silos, whether it's CRM, whether it's marketing, whether it's the buying department, or whether it's even the retail stores. The challenge as a retail environment that we all have now is to make it seamless. And the way that we're going to have to do that is use augmented reality. And how do you take that into stores? As retailers in the States at the moment, you go into their change room and they'll take a scan of your body when you have your bras and undies on, and then you can actually play with the product. It'll virtually fit the product. You don't even have to try it on. And then if you do want to try it on, you just hit buttons and the customer service team come in with the product. But more importantly, all that data is being captured. It goes back up to the main portal. So next time if they're searching online, they've got all that intuitive data. They can make some predictive modelling. So I think I love the fact, out of all negative things that occur in our lives, it's always a positive. The one thing that's happening with the pandemic, it's challenging us to be courageous. It's challenging us to move a lot faster, and it's challenging us to stay by the customer's shoulder, because they don't suffer fools now, the customers. They're onto you if you're asking questions for their benefit. If you're not asking questions for their benefit as opposed to my benefit or the buyer's or the business's benefit, they're going to see through it and they're going to go directly to another retailer. So, if you understand that 91% of customers are more likely to shop with brands who recognise, remember, and provide them with relevant offers and recommendations. Conversely, 48% of customers who leave your site or leave your store, the reason they leave is because you didn't provide a curated experience for their needs. So I just think everyone's got to take that up to the next level and just stay by the customer's shoulder and make sure that all the decisions you're making are data driven, because all the data's there. And I think the opportunity we have is to merge the CRM data, the website data, the store data into one major portal, which is why as a business we're actually about to employ a data scientist, so we can actually use that data but use it across the total business, not just within the silos. And the opportunity we have as a business, which is where we're heading to, is not only look at what they've purchased, but also come up with predictive modelling. So when they come back, there's a cluster marketing that we'll do a whole lot of A/B testing. We'll be quite informed to make a sound assumption that this person will want to spend X amount, the units per transaction will be this, and this is what we believe they're going to want to look at based upon all the information that we've had. If we don't have information on them, watching their behaviour, we can simply overlay the cluster data marketing that we've got and make some sound assumptions and then actually tailor it back. So we're going to have dynamic content on the website depending on the purchase path of the consumer from prior purchase or experiences with our business. We're going to, in the next 12 months, we're going to really amp up the experience. And we know the few things that we've done in the last 6 months, we've had great success with. Our churn rate for CRM's dropped to 0.5, the industry average is 1. Our online sales are tracking at 350% up on last year, and the industry average with the pandemic is anything from 50% to 150%. We've seen our CRM sales increase by close to 800% on last year, because we're taking a really granular view of the customer and we're finally talking about their needs and wants, not ours.
Incredible. So I'll finish up with the same question to you that I asked to Emma. So what has been the general reaction to the Brizzy platform from your customers? I mean, I'm a fan personally, but since I'm in the industry as well, I knew what I was looking for. So how does the general consumer react to this platform?
If I look at the NPS, we do NPS every week, and we get really strong reactions through NPS, which I think is a litmus test of just how powerful the tool is. But ultimately, if I look at the sales data and if I look at the traction that the tool actually provides, the fact that 78% of our customers that start the questionnaire actually finish it is tested as a powerful tool. The fact that we're seeing our average order value increase by 20% means that they're engaged, and the fact that we're also seeing over 3% of people are 3% of the conversion rate as a result of using the tool, which is higher than what our online website is. So the challenge online is to actually get it up to where Prezi is. I think all the stats tell you that this does work, and overlaying all that commercially, they're really cheap. And Michael will hate me saying that, but for the little bit of money you invest and little bit of time you put into it, it's a really, really powerful tool. And I wouldn't hesitate in any business I went into. Prezi is going to stay with me forever now, because I'm an absolute believer in the tool. I think it works because it provides the customers what they want in a really timely manner.
Fantastic. Look at that. What a testimonial, Michael. Love to hear it.
I know. Can I add one thing to that point that Lisa's just made? So one of the things that I think is really interesting is with our customers, a lot of the time no news is good news. So when the question is, you know, how are your customers feeling about it, I think them not saying anything and looking at the data, knowing that it's working, is actually a great thing, because it's so effortless and it's so seamless for them that they don't even really realize that it's any different, you know, to how the expectations that they have when they go to a site. So I think that was a really interesting thing for us. Initially, I was, you know, waiting for people to pick up the phone and be like, this Q&A is amazing, but not having that is actually more testament to the fact that it's just so easy for them that, you know, yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
We're about to look at launching our live chat on our website. And if you look at the stats out of the US, anytime you do live chat well, you've got to do it well and train the people at the back end. But you can see a 15% increase in online sales. We see Prezi falling into that formula as well, to assist the customers who really don't know what they don't know, and especially diamond rings. You know, what's a carat size, the clarity? I don't know. And I work in the game, right? So you've got to make it really easy for them. So uniting a number of different tools, being live chat and Prezi, is going to keep the control with the customer, which is what they want, give them the information in a timely manner, and it's going to be a personalised, curated solution for the customer, because we've got a concierge service at the back end walking them through, and if they don't have all the answers there, we'll actually articulate those answers so they can make an informed decision. So Prezi, the opportunity you have with it is open your mind up to the tool, and where else can you take it?
Definitely. Now, we're moving on to the Q&A section. So I'm going to ask Michael the first question. How much time does it take to get guided conversion, guided selling onto a website? And can you give us sort of the idea of what it needs before we can go live?
Yeah, sure. So getting live can be anywhere from, you know, 24 to 48 hours. It all comes down to how fast the client or the customer wants to move live. For example, Lisa at Bevilles and I, we got our first workflow up within, I think it was 2 or 3 days. And then within several weeks, we had 5 or 6 and we covered the full range. So we have built a tool, at least in a manner that we try to avoid the customer needing to spend too much time. Like, in the end of the day, the end user is, you know, part of our customer, and then the customer, you know, the Bevilles, the Blue Bungalows are our customer. So we kind of look at it like we have two. We need to focus on the end customer experience, but we also understand, you know, how many times do you do a proposal meeting with someone and the e-com manager or the owner goes, yeah, I've got heaps of spare time on my hands. So, you know, we've spent a lot of time making sure that it's pretty seamless, you know, just copy, paste, code, straightforward. In terms of what you need before, it's relatively straightforward. It goes down to, we need your questions and answers, effectively what your customer path to purchase is. So, you know, if you have a store, if someone walks into store, what's that process look like? And then from there, that's really it. We get your data, we get your Q&A, we set it all up in the system, all from our end, no development or no coding. It's all just configurable, like it's a software as a service, and then you copy and paste it in. So it, you know, quite often we get questions from clients that are, oh, this looks like a huge project. This looks, you know, like it'll take us weeks or months. The reality is, no, it can be as little as days.
Amazing. So now I'm going to throw it to Emma. So what would be the next project that you're going to implement to continue improving the customer experience online?
So one of the biggest challenges that we are currently facing on our site is the inconsistency in sizing. So we are a boutique, meaning we're stocking 50 plus different brands, all who have different sizing standards, and you might be a small in one brand and then you're a medium in another, and it's really difficult for us to be able to, I guess, give consistent information to our customers that they're actually going to believe, because a lot of people are used to standard size guides where you click on the size guide and it's just got the same numbers for every product. So we at the moment measure every single style that comes in every single size. So we do that work, but at the moment we don't have anything tying that effort through to the size that the customer's selecting. So we've been talking about how we solve that with Preezy for a while now, and we're super close to having a solution. So that is going to be a massive thing for us, that we can use Preezy not only to make the customer journey easier to finding what they're looking for, but then to actually make the right sizing decision and feel really confident in making that choice and knowing that they're very unlikely to have to return it. So that's the next biggest thing for us in terms of the user journey, and making the process as easy as possible for all the customers that are on our site. And the fact that, well, initially I didn't think that was something Preezy could help with. I just told Michael one day what our biggest problem was, and he's like, oh, piece of cake, we can solve that for you. So yeah, that's what we're about to embark on now, and getting that sorted before our peak season, which really starts probably tomorrow. We want to get that active ASAP.
That's incredible. It sounds so cheesy, but it kind of feels like you're really taking care of the customer, as you really care about them. So it's important to see that coming into life. I love it, especially as a consumer myself. Now I just want to go on Blue Bungalow and buy everything just because of that. So now we've got a question from Daryl for Lisa. So says here, great to see you thinking about Preezy for in-store conversion. How will you manage training for your entire team on the shop floor?
Good question, Daryl. What we've done is pulled a couple of the store members in, and we've done a Zoom training. That's one good thing that's come out of the pandemic, is Zoom and the virtual meetings that we can have. So we've done a whole lot of Zoom training with her on Preezy, and we've also got, as a store salesperson, we've also taken the virtual appointments, and she's managing that, because we also see virtual appointments going into stores as well. For the trading periods that are slow, Monday, Tuesday from 9 till 12, we should be doing virtual appointments with our core customers. So that's where we're going to head. So there's a whole lot of training that we're doing there. So we're using store ambassadors to trial it, because they're at the forefront. They know what works and what doesn't, not us. So they're saying refine this, do that. So we're getting all the back end sorted, and then we're going to do, we're selecting certain people within the stores that become ambassadors for this, that can own it. And a lot of people have put up their hands because they see the revenue opportunities for them in store. And then those ambassadors, they're going to be trained, they're going to be tested. They don't realise, but we're going to be mystery shopping them to make sure that they get to the level that we want, because we have to stay by the customer's shoulder. And then we'll be putting measurements from the back end to see, was it successful, and also including it into our NPS survey to ensure the customer experience was first rate too when we do roll it out to stores.
Fantastic. Got another question from Michael. So does it take a long time to maintain the guided selling experience once it goes live?
No, the reality is you can almost think about it like maintaining navigation on a website. All the product data comes in automatically. It's just imported in once a day, once every few hours, whatever it needs to be. So once it's set up, the truth be told, it could be set and forget. I mean, we don't do that because we have optimization sessions. We go through the data, the logic. We test, we trial, we test, learn. Test-led methodology is super important. But the truth be told is once it's set up, the team will just run through optimizations, and there might be a few questions you change. Like for example, with Blue Bungalow, we removed the budget question to see how that performs. We removed having the price on the page. With Bevel, we've tried changing some logic on how budget calculators work. And truth be told, aside from that, let's go, you added a new range. It's as simple as logging in, adding a new question, almost like Typeform. Log in, new question, it might be, Blue Bungalow are selling, some of the product now, would you like this, and going through the logic. So it's relatively easy and seamless to maintain once it's up.
To add to that, we haven't done this yet, but one of the things that you can use Prezi for is testing the market a little bit, because you can get answers to questions that you don't know in a way that is, you know, native to how the customer is behaving on your site. So that's something that we are going to look to do sooner rather than later, is to test out either new categories or new product types, or get some answers to questions that we don't have solid data for at the moment. And you've got, you know, when you're looking at the sample size of the people that are answering these questions, you end up with some really solid information.
Wonderful. I have a question for all three of you, actually. So what do you think are the most important aspects to online to create a good customer experience and improve conversion? So Lisa, I'll start with you.
Ali, I've got to apologise. I didn't hear that question properly. I'm so apologies. Sorry.
No worries. So what are the most important aspects of online retail to create a great customer experience and improve conversion?
A couple of things. I think to create greater customer experiences, having have a really clear understanding what their needs and wants are. Data is king. Use it, and use it across all platforms. Cluster it together, refine it, do A/B testing, because the data, all the data's there. No one's ever used it properly. They've only used it in the silos, whether it's CRM or whether it's through MPS or whether it's online. But it's got to be merged as to one platform. And to increase the conversion rate, I think you've got to look at how you optimize your website. We're using an amazing company, and I think, Em, you're using them too, in the States, called Site Tuners. And I know by the time we finish that piece of work with them, we'll probably increase our online sales by another, at least another 30%, to be honest with you. It's because they've worked with so many retailers in the States. They've done all the A/B testing. I don't need to do the A/B testing if they've already done it with heavy hitters. I just want to pick up the learnings and run with it. I think also to improve conversion, you need to be very clear on, I refer to them in the business as trust statements. So people need confidence that they're not shopping with a shady retailer. So on your website, you need to have your phone number. A lot of retailers say, I don't want to do it because it creates workload. They're again not staying with the customer path. We've pulled it on. We've had an slight increase with calls, but the increase in sales has been far outweighing the necessity of putting the number up there. So it's definitely been worth it. We call out the fact that we've been around for 84 years. We call out the fact that we've serviced over 10 million customers. So if we've served 10 million customers, we can't be doing too much wrong. We call out the fact that we're working with the world's leading diamond manufacturers. We're now doing bespoke. We're looking at doing bespoke products, because we know there's the early adopter segment within our consumer set are desperate to actually create their own bespoke pieces. So we're actually working with some of our suppliers for something that's going to be a global first, which will be launched next year, which we're really excited about. And finally, I just think in the other tip I'd say is finance. We haven't talked about finance, but you've got Zip, Hum, Afterpay, etc. I see them as being quite influential within the customer journey on the website. In fact, there's some modelling. Sunil, who's an incredible operator I've got within my team, who heads up the e-commerce department. He's actually looking at how we're going to pull e-commerce and take it up to the next level, where a customer could be looking at a $3,000 diamond. I'm not going to really talk about the $3,000 price, but I will talk about that it's only going to cost him $40 a week, because that's enough to get them over the line. So I think finance is going to play a really big part moving forward as well. And I think, honestly, e-commerce, we just touched the tip of the iceberg. I'm so excited about the opportunities that we have across retail and e-commerce. And I've worked in the game for over 20 years, sadly, but I've never been more excited, because I just think now's the time to be really courageous and get out there and do it. There's so many opportunities.
100%. And Emma, I'm going to ask you the same question. So what are the most important aspects of online retail to create great customer service and experience and improve conversions?
So one of the things that has been a big talking point with Site Tuners, who Lisa was mentioning before, so they are CRO experts, and we've been talking with them about how we can improve the conversions on our side. And the one theme that has stuck with me is you can't let your customer think. So any opportunity that you have where they don't have to think unnecessarily about what they're doing is the key to a really seamless experience online. So if for us, we often get friends and family or staff that are quite new to the business to take to start their shopping journey with us from the beginning right through to the end. and then listen to that feedback about how the site's performing, because when you're in it every day and you know everything about your website, you know everything about how everything works, and you might know there's a little bug or a glitch, but you know the way to get around it, you've got to take a step back and realize that that's not what, you know, you're not moving forward if that's your mindset. The other thing, which I think is ultra important, is to always view your site on your mobile phone. We're all at our desks, we're all working on desktops, and it's second nature for us to just be on our desktops all day long. But when 70–80% of your customers are interacting with your website on their phone, it's just as important that you're checking everything and you're using your phone to view your site as often as possible.
Completely agree. I also really love the fresh perspective idea that you have as well, because I feel like sometimes a lot of retailers forget about the consumer point of view. They think a bit of it from their own point of view. So it's very refreshing to see road testing sort of thing going on. I love it.
Yeah.
And so we're almost out of time, but Michael, I have a quick question for you. What are your top conversion tips?
Yeah, cool. So from my point of view, I think it all comes down to just viewing it from the customer's eyes. So the trust statements that Lisa mentioned, I think that's super important. Like the reality is, you know, most people know who Bevilles are, but even then, you know, Appliances Online does this. The biggest companies do this. They have pretty heavy trust statements. You know, Service X, here's my number, you can call me, etc. And I think, aside from obviously what the ladies have mentioned, I think a lot of it comes down to just trying your best to put yourself in the mindset of a consumer. So many times I speak to retailers and they go, and I said to them, listen, if I was to come on your website for a dress, or I was to come on your website for an engagement ring or a pair of running shoes, TV, doesn't matter, like, how would I navigate to this product? And they go, oh, you just go to the navigation, and then you'd click this, and then you'd click that, and then you'd go there, and you'd read all this text, and then I'll be like, yeah, that's the whole point. That's the problem. Like, all those things you just explained, that's the issue. Why not, you know, think about it from the customer's point of view. When I walk into a store, or even like we did some work with Luxury Escapes in an in-store application, it's like if you call them, it's like, hey, I want to go on a holiday next month, me and my partner, you know, for a couple of weeks, somewhere next to the beach, somewhere not too lavish, and they'll go, cool, we reckon you should look at this. You know, why not have that same thing online? And on to Emma's point, you know, don't make it too hard, don't make them think too much. The reality is, I think not enough people, not enough business owners and managers, marketing, etc., they just don't go, hey, like, what is it like to actually come on my website not knowing anything about my brand or what I do, and navigate the range and find the right product? And this is assuming you're not, you know, someone who wants to sit there for 3 hours browsing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, we've actually run out of time. I'm so sorry. I had a bunch more questions, but I know we're all busy people, so we've got to stick to our schedules. So I wanted to thank everybody for the time that they've taken out for this webinar today. It's been absolutely incredible. And again, I could talk about this for a long time because I'm really passionate about the customer experience. I think it's fantastic. So if we didn't get time to answer your questions today, please feel free to reach out to either Michael or Emma or Lisa, and they'll get back to you as soon as they can. I wanted to thank all of you for joining us today, and I hope everyone stays safe, and we'll see you at the next webinar.
Thanks, everyone. Take care. Appreciate it.